Loading. Okay, and we are live for the second
Sweet.
time. Oh, geez, this is ridiculous. So, gosh, I hope I can get some help later on about this. Anyway, hey everyone, it's Pooh. I am joined today by the Sovereign, who I consider a friend through another media forum, and we he's joining me today to kind of help me dissect another TYT video featuring Brown Fabio. And you can see why, right?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, but the guy's name is actually Hassan Piker. And man, talk about hipster extreme. I mean, TYT just had to find themselves a hipster to help them out with their channels. It's crazy. Anyway,
He kind of looks like an older Jimmy Neutron.
an older, less fashionable, quote unquote, fashionable Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah,
I mean, I think Jimmy Neutron's fashion was
just the socially retarded though.
Oh, dude, you should see one of his other videos. Actually, in a lot of his other videos, he does this preppy cholo look. And I don't know if you're familiar with the cholo look, but basically what they do is they'll have like either a white t-shirt or a wife beater under some kind of flannel shirt or other button-down shirt with only the top button and everything else just kind of wide open, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so he does that, except he does the top button and the next one under that.
So he's not even doing it right.
I guess. I don't know. Like I said, it's I call it the preppy cholo, but anyway, because then he'll wear like all these other kind of hipster clothes with the shit. Anyway, or maybe it's hipster cholo. Anyway, so but before we do this here, Sovereign, if you don't mind, I'd like you to go ahead and at the very least introduce your politics, because I think your politics will come into play as we watch this video.
Right. Well, I'm an anarcho-capitalist. That means I believe we can form a peaceful, functional society without any government at all. That's basically what it comes down to.
Okay, and where does that stand as far as so, I mean, would you consider it to be more yourself? Because I don't really understand a lot about anarcho-capitalism. But where does it stand with politics and social issues?
All right. Okay. So social issues, basically, the answer is we don't care. You do you as long as you're not hurting anybody. Economically, don't believe in taxation. We don't believe in any of that stuff. So it's more libertarian-esque, but it goes kind of to the extreme, to the point where government kind of just dissolves. So think of a libertarian, but go so far that the government's gone. That's what anarcho-capitalism is.
Yeah, you'll have to forgive me. I think the word that popped in my head, because I think other people who would stand diametrically opposed to you might call you a Nazitarian.
What?
A Nazitarian.
Not-so-tarian or Nazi-tarian?
Nazi. Yeah, like a Nazitarian.
No government. I'm not interested in killing anybody.
Yeah, I've Godwin's lawed you before we even started this fucking video.
Yeah, wow.
All right, so let's go ahead and do this. Actually, I think we decided that we needed to kind of put this into a little more context by watching first the Jimmy Kimmel monologue from the other day, and hopefully I can find it real quick. Let's see. Probably gonna. Oh, here it is.
You know who Jimmy Kimmel's married to, right? Or was, or is he still?
Well, I know he dated her, but I don't think they were ever married.
Oh, right. Okay, so he dated her, and I always thought she was pretty cute. So I was like, man, I'd like to see her naked. And then she did some naked scene in some video, and I was like, fuck, I don't want to see her naked.
Well, hell, this thing might not even freaking load, man.
It should. Give it some time.
Oh, geez. How much time does this thing think we have? You've got to go prep your house, and I got to get homework done.
I'm okay for a little bit. I'm all right.
All right. Shit, I've never seen it buffer this long.
Give it an F5.
Another 5 seconds or another 5 minutes?
Give it an F5.
Oh, an F5.
Yeah.
Might have to do. Let me see if closing down any of my tabs will help it out.
That'll probably help a lot.
close this fucking dashboard.
Wouldn't you know it?
All
Like the stream works fine, but fucking YouTube itself is broken. Sometimes this helps me. I just advance the video to like 2-3 seconds. It'll start playing.
Hell, it's not even letting me do that.
Really?
Yeah, okay. Fuck it. Let's just take this in the context of which Brown Fabio does this.
All right, let's do it.
Because I think it's less about Jimmy Kimmel's videos and his opinion on it. But I just love the title here. If you attack Jimmy Kimmel, you're a garbage person. It's almost as if he's taken a play from the Anna Kasparian book of, what's the word I'm looking for? Condescension.
Condescension and virtue signaling all at once.
Hell yeah. Let's see if we can actually hear this son of a bitch.
Recounted an incredibly moving account of what happened to his newborn son this past week.
My wife, Molly, gave birth.
By the way, let me know. Just say stop the video if you got to say something.
Oh, no problem.
All right. Or just stop, whatever.
A boy, a baby boy. His name is William John Kimmel.
Let's make sure we put it in bold yellow letters.
Yes.
And he ended his monologue by talking about the less fortunate and how they would be affected by an Obamacare repeal.
You know, before 2014, if you were born with congenital heart disease like my son was, there was a good chance you'd never be able to get health insurance because you had a pre-existing condition. If your baby is...
I'm going to be nitpicky here for a second because that pre-existing condition bit of Obamacare went into effect, I believe, the year, if not the same year that they had passed it. So it was before 2014, but like I said, I'm just being nitpicky.
Right.
is going to die, and it doesn't have to. It shouldn't matter how much money you make.
It's basically a plea.
Let's stop with the nonsense. This isn't football. There are no teams. We are the team. It's the United States. Don't let their partisan squabbles divide us on something every decent person wants.
He's right there.
Okay, so
See, I'm already off the boat.
yeah, see, okay, because here's the problem. You know, I understand that, you know, this is something, and this is why he shouldn't be, in my opinion, he shouldn't be commenting on it, at least not from a reasonable standpoint, because with him getting all choked up about this, he's basically making an appeal to emotion here.
Purely. There's no logical capability to it. It's all emotion. It's basically, oh, my son almost died. There are plenty of people's sons who almost died. We need to fix this. You know, not caring about the actual ramifications.
Right. Actually, yeah, and the thing of it is that you're not gonna see in this video or hear him mention anything about, you know, the millions upon millions of people that have been negatively affected by Obamacare.
Correct.
You hear that a damn bit, because you know they'll never mention that, you know, for the amount of people that Obamacare helps, there's either parity or a very high disparity by those who are hurt by it. Let's not forget the if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan.
We have to pass it to know what's in it.
Yeah, exactly. So there are many stories out there of people who have been negatively affected by it, either by losing a plan that they liked, losing doctors that they liked, and settling for, you know, whatever the Obamacare said that they could have that was within that network. Let's not talk about the deductibles that have gone up or even the premiums, because you know what? You know, and I've made this argument once to a Lacey Green video, that, you know, that they don't give a shit about who it negatively affects. They only care about who it positively affects. And basically what they've done is that they've done this kind of inversion of what it was like for people that might not have had health care before Obamacare, but now do, as opposed to those who had plans that they liked and now don't.
Right.
I'm going to go. Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to add before I go on?
No.
Okay, here we go.
There isn't a partisan issue, but unfortunately, we can't all agree. Yes.
Wait a minute. Did he just say Obamacare is not a partisan issue?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Okay, if it wasn't a partisan issue, then why did the Republicans not get included as often?
They had to pass it with the minority, with the very slim majority, right?
Yeah, a very slim majority, and that the Republicans were largely excluded from any of the talks that happened behind closed doors. They might have been included in a couple of them, but whatever it was that they had to say about it did not get included in the final plan that was, or bill that was signed into law.
I think that anytime a program like this is going to be passed, they should actually send you an estimate bill, like not an actual bill, but just to let you know that for every year that this goes by, the equivalent of you paying your taxes plus X is going to be the bill. And people will, I think, very quickly and very clearly know where they stand. You know, no one says this, but it cost $1 trillion last year to have the Obamacare, right? Actually, it was a little bit over $1 trillion as far as I recall. But if you divide that amongst the 300 million people, you know, it doesn't seem like a lot, but, you know, it's extra money that you didn't have to pay before.
Wow, this is weird.
Premiums went up.
Holy shit.
What happened?
For whatever reason, music started playing on my phone. It's crazy. It's almost like Spotify said, hey, you know what? We want to start playing your music. Well, you don't hear it because it's on my phone. It's really odd.
Aren't you speaking on your phone?
Yes, I am. It's crazy. And the thing is I can't see it. Holy shit, what's going on here? It's so weird.
You're gonna have to get a Bluetooth headset.
Oh, fuck that. I ain't doing that. Hold on for a second.
Oh, there's the music. Now
there it is. Okay, yeah. I had to force it back onto Spotify. Jeez. That was crazy. Damn, and now I forgot what I was gonna say.
We were talking about the extra costs. Like I wanted to say that.
Oh, so the CBO came out with estimated costs.
Okay.
But the problem was that the CBO's numbers, as each year went by, Obamacare turned out to prove the CBO wrong. Every time. It was
it isn't just what the government's costs are. Consider that nearly everyone had their premiums double.
Yeah.
I mean, people have to. There are people out there who have to buy Obamacare because nothing else is affordable and still can't afford to use their Obamacare. How is that a better situation?
Yeah, it's actually worse for many people. And the thing of it is that basically, you remember when they were touting all the numbers, is that one of the government agencies, I can't remember which, basically showed that a lot of the people that were already on Medicaid were switched over to Obamacare. thus inflating the numbers. Right. Because if you kept them on, well, and that's kind of how they wrote the law, was to kind of get everybody that was on Medicare onto Obamacare. But if it hadn't been that way, the numbers would not have been even as high as they were. And even at that, I think the highest number that they have of people who are currently on Obamacare is about 20 million.
I think that was the last estimate was like 22 million, the highest.
Yeah, that is not even a tenth of the population. That's a little more than that's not even a tenth.
And it was slightly more than the 15 million uninsured voluntarily, right?
Yeah.
So
which means that the other number had to come from other people.
Right.
And that difference is probably the people who are knocked off of their employers' plans. Probably, I don't have any proof to provide right now. I'm just taking a guess.
Well, I recall that the uninsured voluntarily was around 15 million, give or take. You can quote me on that, but I'm not sure that that's actually correct. It sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I think what you and I are both dealing with are things that we have heard over the last couple of years, and probably something that we would have to refresh our memories on.
Right.
All right, so let's do this. Not even a minute in. Shit.
Every decent person wants to protect health care for all Americans, but a lot of people just aren't decent. And usually.
Okay, so the idea that in order to be a decent person, you have to agree with Obamacare. You have to want Obamacare around.
Wrong.
Okay, so personal experience. And granted, I understand that anecdotal evidence isn't good evidence if it can be entered in as evidence at all. But, about oh gosh, about 10 years ago. I had just moved to Austin and had gotten a job and hadn't been at the job long enough. I was just shy of having my medical insurance with this job. I got a severe infection that caused me to be hospitalized. And no, it wasn't a sexually transmitted infection. It was.
I was gonna say, man.
It was basically. It was cellulitis, is what it is, and that can be a deadly infection. So anyway, I got hospitalized for 4 days and had zero insurance to take care of this. Right. I was definitely not on Medicaid, and even if I did apply for Medicaid, they would have said I've made too much money to be on Medicaid.
Right.
So what had happened is that the hospital I got admitted to had charities that were involved in helping people pay for their medical expenses, which I was blessed to benefit from. So my medical bills went from about $20,000 to maybe $1,000.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's very awesome. So obviously there are decent people out there who give money to those kind of charities that want to help people get their medical bills taken care of in case an emergency happens. Government to tell them, hey, you need to put your money into this hospital here or there or wherever. And fortunately, there are tax loopholes for those kind of people so that they can. I mean,
well, don't forget, if you're willing to pay your bill right there in cash, or at least somewhat in cash, even if you go on a payment plan, they cut the bill in half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they'll take the cash all day long. All right,
they're just happy somebody's paying. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, now watch this. He's basically going to do this montage of headlines, and he's going to highlight these little sentences in these articles without giving anybody context of what the whole article says.
Those are the people that end up on CNN panels. Or if they haven't been hired by CNN yet, they're usually conservative columnists like Charles Hurt, who wrote an
Did he just say conservative?
Yes. Have you heard that term before?
I've heard of it. Like, the whole cuck thing is like beyond control now. Like, can you guys just please stop?
Well, see, the funny thing I love about it is how they're trying to appropriate words that they didn't come up with, that conservatives came up with.
Right, but it's like it's past dank memes now. It's become gauche to say those things.
Yeah, but I don't know if you've seen this. Do you watch? Are you familiar with Francesca Ramsey?
I've seen
that decoded shit. Oh. Yeah, she just recently came out with one that says "cuck is racist."
Yes, cuck is racist. Where the hell did she? Oh my! You know what?
You'd have to see it to see and hear the mental gymnastics she goes through to come to this conclusion.
I can't even right now. I just can't even.
Yeah, this one is already hard enough to deal with, I believe.
Same piece on the Washington Examiner titled "Shut Up, Jimmy Kimmel, You Elitist Creep," calling Jimmy's plea to stop defunding healthcare services to children a slobbering, wet kiss to bureaucracy. Like, who watches that 13-minute emotional monologue?
Let's see this. If you pause it, I guess you could take it into context. What does the guy say? I mean, really, Jimmy, does your newborn child not mean more to you than petty politics?
Well,
I don't know that I can disagree with that.
Jimmy Kimmel's whole thing was about, we need people to care for the children. This is something we all want. In fact, wasn't that specifically that we all want this? Well, we all want to be billionaires too. We all want to be billionaires too. Does that mean we can fund that through the government? I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, well, he's going to say it here more in a second.
I guarantee you there are more people who want to be billionaires than there are who want healthcare. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, because if you're a billionaire, you've got healthcare.
Right. So put, shit in one hand and hope in the other and see which one fills up first.
Thinks, wow, fuck this guy. What a creep. I'm going to go all in. But the bar apparently can be set lower. And I present to you my case, Joe Walsh.
Former Congressman Joe Walsh tweeted, quote, "Sorry, Jimmy Kimmel, your sad story doesn't obligate me or anybody else to pay for somebody else's health care."
By the way, a lot of you...
He's right.
Okay, and what's wrong with that? He's right.
Yeah.
It doesn't. And I'm glad. For Jimmy, I'm glad he was in a position to take care of his kid.
Yeah, I'm
You know?
glad too. I don't want anybody to die unnecessarily.
Yeah. But just because you don't want anybody to die doesn't, again, obligate you to pay for somebody else's health care, and the government shouldn't obligate other people to do that.
It shouldn't. That's not the government's role.
It isn't, because there's nothing really constitutional about that. It's extra constitutional. And
Yeah.
I understand that we have many laws that are extra constitutional, and I believe that some are more valid than others. Because there are certain things that aren't necessarily explicit. The Constitution isn't explicit on absolutely everything.
No, it isn't. I mean, my position. My position is tear it all down. But if you're gonna have a government, you should at least follow the rule book of that government, right?
Mm-hmm. All right. Look at the. Can you see my cursor?
I can see your cursor.
I've never seen a motherfucker wear a pocket watch as a necklace.
I have. Flavor
Well, that's
Flav.
new to me. He's worn wall clocks as.
Hey, close enough, right? But he's trying to resurrect the Flavor Flav,
I don't think so. I think, again, he's just being a hipster. I'm actually surprised he doesn't have his top button.
I'm surprised he doesn't have a handlebar mustache, actually.
Gosh. Actually, I'm also surprised that he's down. Based on my other video I did of this guy, he's knocked it down to only 4 rings on either, collectively on both hands. He usually has about 6. Yeah, he usually has about 6 or 7.
This guy looks very Italian in the way he's gesticulating here.
Yeah, but but with a name like Hassan Piker,
yeah, Islamic.
I'm thinking more mix of Middle Eastern. Well, I don't know that. I doubt he's Islamic. He might have come from that, but I doubt he is.
You probably don't know this, but Joe Walsh is not just an asshole. He's also known as Deadbeat Dad Joe Walsh for refusing to pay child support, a case he had to settle in court. So yeah, not.
Hold on, I'm curious. What was the source here? Because when it comes from source, it depends on the source as far as how far I'll believe it.
Also known as Deadbeat Dad Joe Walsh.
No, it doesn't say.
Kylie Joy Gray. Google that real
Settle in
fast.
court.
Kaylee Joe Gray.
Yep. Is it Kylie or Kaylee?
Probably. It wouldn't surprise me if it was Callie.
I think there's an extra I in there.
Oh, there's an E at the end.
Huh?
Well, I don't know. Is there?
No. Go back up to the top. The search name is wrong. Kaili Joy Gray.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's weird.
Kylie. Somebody couldn't spell properly.
Joy Gray. I can't remember. My short-term memory is that garbage.
Not you. I'm talking about whoever gave her that name. I don't know what Kylie is.
I think the pronunciation is going to be Kaylee. Let's
possibly.
see. Senior editor at Share Blue. What the fuck is that?
A non-existent newspaper.
A blog. Ah, shit, come on.
It is a
Share
blog.
Blue.
Yeah, and it's an
Basically.
anti-GOP website.
Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that she's not being honest, but since we're only getting a blurb on it, I'm gonna take
say
it
incredibly biased is what I'm gonna say.
He had to settle
just a
in.
little bit.
So yeah, not exactly a surprise there, Joe, that you don't care about.
And okay. So this I don't know if I want to attack this real quick, but this idea about being a deadbeat dad for not paying child support. Okay, can we get context in which he was not paying child support? Because believe it or not, some fathers who are entitled to, who are obligated to pay child support, will. I'm not saying that they should stop paying child support, but damn it, if he had to settle out of court, I will bet you that there was some kind of dispute going on about his child support.
Correct. And if they had a settlement, that means that the judge basically said it's okay to pay less or more depending on what's going on for whatever the amount was allocated. So something is up there. Maybe he started making less money and they were charging him a fortune. We don't know the details, but suffice it to say is that doesn't mean you're a deadbeat dad. That just means you can't afford it, possibly.
Yeah, you're getting a phone call, man.
Yeah, I am getting.
Or am I getting a phone?
That's me.
Tell him to go away.
I'm okay.
You're
Keep
calling
going.
yourself?
Other people. You don't even give a shit about your own kids. And then you had
Yeah, that's exactly what it means. He doesn't give a shit about his kids.
congressmen presently in office eager to add their 2 cents and push forward their agenda on the Obamacare repeal, like Freedom Caucus member Representative Andy Harris.
Pre-existing condition coverage will actually be strengthened under the MacArthur Amendment because it'll add several layers of protection, including establishment of high-risk pools.
Here's Andy Harris totally lying to your face, claiming that high-risk pools strengthen Obamacare's pre-existing condition enforcement. This is a class.
Okay. Again, don't bring up what he's saying in context. Take a blurb. Now I understand that he's trying to do this, 5-minute-ish video and trying to get all his thoughts and compacted here.
Right.
But when you get in front of a camera and call people liars, you have to support that with a little bit more context than just little sound bites that say that and then say he's lying. And also posting an article where somebody is saying that no, the high risk pool actually does the opposite. And without again putting the article into context, just highlight the headline. Don't actually post anything about the MacArthur Amendment. Now I don't know anything about the MacArthur Amendment because this is just a couple of days ago that this all went down. So, and this is pretty much Young Turk MO. Never put it into context.
Classic Republican argument following the other classic, leave it up to the states. And it's also bullshit. Why would it?
Wait. Why is that bullshit? Why is leave it up to the states bullshit?
Well, because I'm only going to guess that he's more of I don't know, is a federalist?
Right, but
The correct term?
If you leave it up to the states and the states decide, yeah, we're going to cover everything, or no, we're not, isn't that producing a more options for people? In other words, if I live in a state where Obamacare covers everything versus a state where Obamacare doesn't cover everything, if I don't like the fact that my local Obamacare rates are like stupidly high, I can move. Whereas if it's that way federally, there's nothing I can do about it.
Right, you're stuck like Chuck no matter where you go.
Refuse federal funding for Obamacare's Medicaid expansion, not throw out pre-existing conditions and leave it up to the industry professionals because they know better. But you might be.
But that's the whole damn thing about Obamacare, is that it's been left up to industry professionals.
It was written by the healthcare providers.
Yeah, they did, and that's the thing, that either they don't know or willfully ignorant about or lying. Because, it's like, why do they ignore that leading up to the passage of Obamacare, that Obama had all these CEOs or insurance representatives in closed sessions with himself to talk about God knows what when it came to this damn healthcare bill. It's not as if the government was directly funding anything like this. They were sending money out to healthcare groups like Aetna, United, and whoever the hell else happened to be involved, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Right. And they were handling it. And I know this is how they do it because at one point in time in my life, I worked for a government contractor who handled Medicare benefits. They paid us to send out to basically in turn pay providers for their claims. And that's really the best way that they have to do it, because if they were seen to continue to build a government bureaucracy to handle all this shit, people would be even more opposed to the government.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. By the way, have you noticed how many views this video has and the likes to dislikes ratio? They have a greater than 10% dislikes.
Yeah. Well, hell, you should see some of the other videos.
3 million subs? That doesn't make any sense.
Yep. It doesn't. Hell, if you go to some of their like their actual news show instead of this bullshit right here, you'll often see that their likes to dislike ratio is even greater.
Really? It's greater than 10%. That's pretty high, 10%.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I think the problem is that, or at least for them, the problem is that people are starting to see what bullshit artists they are, and they're not even are very artistic at the bullshit anymore.
Yep.
Thinking, what motive does Andy have to lie to us, Hassan? Why would he do this? I
Well, yeah, I mean, can you really explain the motive here besides just guessing at it?
don't know. Maybe the $240,000 in contributions health professionals made to Andy's campaign might have something to do with it.
Okay, right. Because if you go and look at anybody else's donations where health professionals have donated to Democrats, or even health insurers,
Right.
it's not as if the health insurers aren't dumping money into their pockets so they can get even more money. Right. Again, basically what he's dealing with is just speculation as to why. The fact that he's gotten all this money from health professionals doesn't mean that, one, he's lying, or two,
I'm trying to
that he
figure
doesn't want
out
healthcare.
how I'm trying to figure out how being against Obamacare, which actually pays health professionals more money and forces everyone to buy insurance, is good for these guys. I mean, wouldn't removing the individual mandate and all that be hurtful to the health professionals because you wouldn't have to buy insurance anymore? So it's,
I don't know.
counter to what he's saying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or he just wants poor people to die. You decide. But Andy's not.
I think it's definitely that he wants poor people to die.
Yeah. I'm going to vote for that one. He wants poor people to die. F you guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he is an old white male, so we all know how they feel about poor people.
Evil. All old white males are evil, right?
Yeah, exactly. And this is coming from, the sarcasm is dripping from two non-white males here.
Not alone. Other commentators also use this viral moment to make their own false claims on television.
That was an incredibly emotional plea, but it massively confused the public.
Yes, it was.
And the policies at hand.
Translation. Yeah, that was sad. But now I'm about to say some shit that's totally misleading because CNN pays me to be a contrarian.
There
Okay, and what does the Young Turks pay you for?
Seriously.
no
Have some introspection.
policy or bill that is saying we absolutely are going to take away pre-existing conditions without some other element there.
Yeah, other elements like the high-risk pools that Andy also mentioned that are proven to be insufficient or
See, this is
source.
This is what I hate
Notice source.
about this. No, this is what I hate about this. This whole pre-existing conditions. If you're a diabetic hemophiliac with heart disease, I don't want to pay for your health care. God made you to die. And it's basically what it comes down to, right? No, in all seriousness, it's like there's nothing that can be done for you. You're just going to run up a huge bill. I hate to sound cold and callous, but this is
Right.
This is kind of bad. And especially, I don't want to pay for you to breed because most of those would have a genetic component, right?
Right.
Come on.
Okay, well,
you have to
let me
responsibility.
Okay, well, let me disagree with you slightly here. Okay, because on one hand, I'm not a huge fan of the pre-existing conditions. On the other hand, being someone who does have pre-existing conditions, things happen in life. Okay, so example would be, so I at one point I had a job, I had my healthcare coverage.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, I lost that job either due to downsizing or whatever. So basically, if you don't have a job lined up immediately after that one, because basically the law, at least the last time I was involved with it, stated that you had 30 days in which to get another insurance plan. So that way, you could at least, stay off the pre-existing condition stipulation with another health insurance. Well, the problem with that is if you don't have a job lined up, they offer you COBRA.
Right.
And COBRA is ridiculously expensive. It's not as expensive as it would be if you were out on your own, but basically your payments can jump up from about $100 a month to about $500-600 a month. That's a dip, and you don't have a job.
$600 a month is roughly what you'd pay for the whole carte blanche healthcare plans anyway, right? I mean, granted, they're not on
but
the
thing
same
of it
level.
is, yeah, but the other thing of it is that, okay, you don't have a job to make that kind of payment. Your money has to be funneled into other directions, like paying your rent, paying your bills, and getting food. You know, those kind of things.
I agree with that. I mean,
Okay,
dude,
so
I'm not saying that the system's not broken. I'm just saying.
no. Well, I'm not finished with the whole. Well, I mean that, and so the thing with pre-existing conditions is that if you have federal law that tells health insurers you can't penalize somebody for having a pre-existing condition, because basically for the first year, or at least it used to be like this, for the first year that you reobtained medical coverage, but fell outside of the 30-day period to not be penalized for pre-existing conditions, they would not cover you for a year on your pre-existing conditions. So you had to wait a year, and I think that kind of might have depended on the carrier that you went to. You had to wait a year before you could start getting coverage for your pre-existing condition again.
Right, but there's always been pre-existing condition risk pools, just like they've been saying. That's never not been existent.
No, I get that, but my argument is that doesn't help anybody, especially when they are like, if you want to add a little bit more money to their premium, please not the deductible, because the deductibles are freaking crazy even before Obamacare. Right. Then do that. Especially if because they have access to your medical records and can find out whether or not you have a pre-existing condition. But anyway, right. That is my only argument with it. Like, it's kind of there's a degree of duality for me when it comes to that, because I'm me, I'm a little bit more on the less government regulation thing, although I do think, unlike you, I think government has its place. But on the other hand, again, being someone with a pre-existing condition.
To me, the whole healthcare thing can be fixed just by deregulating the entire healthcare industry.
Right. Well, and the thing is, I wouldn't mind. What I probably should do is go back and see if I can find some information on why the government felt it was so necessary, or what their official reason was for them finding it necessary for them to get involved. Because the damn thing about government is, if they can find a cash cow in certain industries, by golly, they're going to get involved.
Right.
All right. And then again, back to this. I mean, this is fucking Mother Jones.
Mother Jones.
And they will this motherfucker in particular. Actually, no, I will say all of them. I mean, Mother Jones is a default for them as far as trying to substantiate their claims. Mother Jones is the last place you need to go. I don't care if you're left, right, conservative, or liberal.
Right.
You don't go to sources that have a political agenda. But goddamn it, what's wrong? What's so fucked up about news media these days is that they almost all have a political agenda these days.
They all do.
Anyway, moving on. Unless you want to expand on that.
No, I'm good. Let's roll.
We've tried that before. That's why we had Obamacare. But let's move on to another panelist.
Let me back it up just a second.
Proven to be insufficient or non-inclusive. We've tried that before. That's why we had Obamacare. But let's move on to another panelist on yet another CNN show. Here's what pundit Matt Lewis had to say about Kimmel's plea.
I thought it was a little cheap, though. Look, as a father, I can understand the passion I think is sincere. I don't think that this is the right move for him to do, to politicize this. This is a guy who's incredibly rich, of course. He's not going to help him.
Except he acknowledges his privilege in his plea. This is an argument.
I get sick of that word.
As long as you acknowledge your privilege. That's it. No matter what you do, no matter how bad it is. If I was Hitler, yeah, I'm Hitler, but my privilege is that I'm the leader of this country. It's okay.
I'm just getting tired of the damn word too. I mean, shit.
I'm sorry, I Godwined myself right there.
You did.
Yeah, I went straight to it.
Who do not have the same resources, who don't have the same access. Something you all seem.
Okay, so they may not have the same resources, but that doesn't mean that they don't have any resources.
True. Didn't you mention that you had gone to a charity that provided you with funding
Yeah.
for your emergency situation. I don't see why that
Yes.
could not apply to anybody with this sort of similar situation where their newborn child is in need.
Exactly.
I mean, isn't this what the Shriners do?
Yeah, the Shriners.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because again, it's I have made the argument before that it wasn't an argument. It was speculation on my part, admittedly, based on previous readings I had done, that private charities often are capable of doing more with less than any government entity, whether it be the federal government itself or whoever they contract to do the work for them.
Well, that's always been the case.
Because the problem with the government is that they always find some means to basically create more bureaucracy, thus costing more money. Whereas private charities understand that they have to do more on a leaner budget.
Right.
But it's, but dipshits like this are so, they're so dug into their own ideology and their belief that the federal government is the answer to, absolutely everything, that, they can't ever stop to think about, well, who the fuck is this? Who's this actually costing? And the damn thing of it is that, if this guy, if Brown Fabio or even Jimmy Kimmel thinks that people, the individual should be able to do more for people, there's nothing stopping them from giving up most of their income to feed those private organizations.
Why don't they start a foundation?
Jimmy Kimmel very well may have one.
Son Foundation, in which the Jimmy Kimmel Son Foundation goes to help, newborns with surgery.
Let's look this. I'm just going to go to the Wikipedia, his wiki, and see if let's see if there's anything there.
Tweet at him. Tell him, hey, why don't you start a Jimmy Kimmel Son Foundation? Give up some of those millions to help out, all these children in need.
His second son, William Billy, the infant. Yeah, okay. So he even talks about that. What about Shaun White? See, the first guest on his show returned after her son's birth. Dr. Oz. Hey, he plays the bass clarinet. I think I knew that. To the annual Los Angeles Feast of a New York annual tradition. Okay. So, oh, geez. Anyway. He's a narcoleptic.
Yeah, I was going to say he's narcoleptic. Has he ever fallen asleep during a live tape? That would have been hilarious.
If he did, I'm sure they edit it because they pre-tape all that shit. But, okay, so it's only a few days out. So maybe after this, he may, is it find or found? He may found a, some kind of charity that will look into congenital heart effect shit, but again.
Yeah, I think we should totally tweet at him. Just tweet at him and say, hey, man, we have an idea. Why don't you start a foundation? Because you can afford it and several other rich people can afford it. Why don't you just start it?
Okay, here we go. Actually, maybe I'll do that.
We're doing this, folks. We're gonna do this live right now. We're gonna tweet at him.
Shit, I think this is him. Hold on. Let's see. Open Lincoln. Yeah.
Wasn't his name Piker?
No, that's a different guy. Well,
yeah.
no, he goes by something else. This is the guy. Actually, this guy was on the Daily Show, and he did the correspondence dinner. His jokes fell so flat, it was crazy.
Everyone's jokes have been falling flat on that. That show is tanking. You would not even. Ugh.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. Okay, yeah, Hassan the Hun. Here he goes.
There you go.
That's what it is.
So tweet at both of them. Be like, WTF, start a foundation.
Son of a bitch.
Charities work.
Okay, okay, WTF.
Foundation to help newborn children. I guess. How else would you phrase that, right?
That's not how you spell congenital.
C-O, yeah. You got it right.
Centeno.
C-O.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. Congenital.
Yeah.
Or-
It's still.
No, genital. There's an I after the.
I got the spell checker. Genitals.
Okay, there you
Yeah.
go.
I should take out the com part and put genital defects.
There you go with the genital defects. Charities work.
Hold on.
How many characters we got? We got 25 left. Go.
Acknowledge. Fuck, I can't spell for shit.
Your privilege. Actually, do with Shriners, because Shriners does that stuff, right? Shriners does children's charities. Do they even have Shriner hospitals? There you go.
Let's see.
We're 3 characters too far. Get rid of the WT.
No.
There you go. We're good. Solid.
With 1 to spare.
One to spare.
Boom.
You think they'll respond?
Oh, hell no. Not at all. No reason whatsoever.
Yeah. Let's
all right, here we go.
Seemingly forgot about. And by the way, the problem I have with this is that it's not on Fox News. This panel's not on the Blaze Network. It's on CNN, the most trusted name in news. And
No, they're not.
That used to be the case.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. Okay, so I am so sick of this damn argument about if it's on Fox or the Blaze, then they must be lying. That's the first argument I hate. I can't stand that. I'm not much of a Fox user these days myself because, I just don't care.
It's funny because CNN is that one network where if you mention fake news, not even say that they are fake news, but if you say the words fake news, they cut you off the air.
I've seen those. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, or else, Don Lemon walked off set. He had him cut this one guy off, and then he walked off set. It was great. Oh, geez. Or I think maybe he didn't do it. But anyway, this idea that, the Blaze or Fox News is never capable of giving you correct information.
Yeah, it's...
but they'll never. Okay, but I have yet to see a video. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I have yet to see a video from any of them discussing Rachel Maddow and Trump's taxes, because she did this thing. It's like she went live with it.
It was such a non-event.
She built it up for 30 minutes, not including commercial time. To talk about something for 10, 15 minutes. It was nothing.
My whole deal. There's nothing noble about paying taxes, right? We do everything in our power to pay the least amount of taxes all the time. Mm-hmm. What do you think they're going to find in that tax return? You think it's going to say, exactly. I hid the treasure here? Jeez.
Okay, do you know who Don Cheadle is?
Yes, it is the black guy from Ocean's 11.
Yeah, or Iron Man or whatever the hell.
Yeah, I was going to say he also played War Machine in Iron Man.
Yeah. Okay, so it was a while ago, but it was not long after Donald Trump. Wait a second. Did you see any of those celebrity ads during the elections about, how they should vote for Clinton, more or less?
I don't own TV.
Okay, well, it wasn't on TV. It was on YouTube.
Oh, well, I didn't see it.
Okay, if we got time, because I know you probably got to get going soon. I'll show you this shit, but basically he just calls, without any evidence, Donald Trump a racist, bigoted, homophobic, rapist, or whatever.
This is like cognitive dissonance on a whole other level, right?
Man, because, never mind that there has been no proof. Donald Trump could absolutely be any of those things. But
no, hold on.
There's no proof for it.
In all fairness,
there's no proof.
In all fairness, you could say that there's some inkling that Donald Trump might be anti-Latino, right? You could say that.
I could.
But you can't say he's anti-black, okay? Because a lot of his personal staffers are black, okay? You can't say
That just means he's a slaver that actually pays his slaves.
well, you can't say he's anti-woman because the head of his liaisons for public affairs is a black woman, right? So his
Slave.
daughter
She's still a
is
slave.
in charge of several of his companies. I mean, I hate.
Or how about anti-Semitic? How about anti-Semitic? Because he's been called that too.
And his daughter's husband is Jewish.
And she's Jewish now. She's converted, but still.
Look,
She's
you're
a religious
putting me in
Jew.
a weird position. I'm defending Donald Trump here, but
I know.
I just think it's and not to mention during one of the biggest rallies there was, he came out and literally said, "We're going to protect the LGBT community."
Oh, they
Right?
dismissed that as that he was just doing that for show.
He
And I'm
was
like,
doing it
okay,
in the middle of a Republican event.
I know, but he did it for show.
Oh,
That's what they'll say. That's what they say. So I'm like, okay, so when Obama finally came out and Hillary Clinton came out as for gay marriage, that was them being honest finally, like before they weren't being honest. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm serious. You know, the fact of the matter is, I don't know if Donald Trump actually gives a shit about the LGBT community and just did that for show, or if he's actually being genuine. I don't know that motherfucker's mind. I'm not a mind reader.
Yeah.
Sit here and guess at whether or not he's being genuine about it. Okay? Just for that reason. I can't read fucking minds. Anyway.
It's incredibly difficult to fill 24 hours of the day with news, even though our supreme leader makes it much easier for all of us. But your panels are starting to sound like a watered down political version of Housewives of New Jersey. But I guess the question...
Really?
Yeah. This is just fluff right now.
Yeah,
does
it really
does
is.
he get to any more substance?
I think he does, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
If not, if like I said, if there's anything to stop on, just let me know.
The question I have for everyone attacking Kimmel is, who are you guys protecting here exactly? Like, is this a...
We're not protecting anybody. We're calling out people with their stupidity. We're not protecting you.
No. He's asking who are they trying to protect as far as the healthcare thing goes. You know, but either way, it's like he's trying to promote it as though there's something clandestine going on as far as why they don't want, universal health care.
Yeah.
There's nothing clandestine about it, because at least nothing that they can prove. Because see, he's not going to answer the question. He's asking the question. He's only asking the question. So the thing of it is like, okay, well, let me help you. Let me help you, Fabio. It's not as if they're protecting anybody. It's almost as if they're actually doing what the people who voted him into office asked them to do, which was repeal Obamacare.
Repeal it. Okay? I remember that.
Because it doesn't matter if let's say that the popular vote who voted for Hillary Clinton actually wants to keep Obamacare. And so as we know, the popular vote for Hillary was greater than that of Donald Trump.
Right.
It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant because those who got voted into office are thinking about the constituents that voted them in. Now, granted, they should be thinking about all their constituents, regardless of whether or not they voted for them. But the thing of it is that they are representing their districts that voted them into office by majority vote that said, we want this shit gone. And like it or not, it's those constituents who got those people in that are going to matter the most, since they are the majority. If he didn't vote, too fucking bad. Because as Obama himself had said, elections have consequences. If you don't get out there to get your representatives in, and you get a representative that you don't want who wants to get rid of Obamacare, SOL. You are SOL.
A battle for logic? Is it ideology? Is it just because you want your team to win no matter what?
Okay, you're talking about ideology while ignoring your own.
Yeah, people don't really get that, right? They don't understand that politics and religion both fall into ideology.
It's crazy.
Even if it's party loyalty that pushes you to support the Obamacare repeal so blindly.
Even if it were party loyalty, it doesn't matter, because again, it comes back to the people who voted them in.
See, I don't think it's party loyalty. I don't see it that way. There are people who genuinely think that caring for other people's health care is a bad idea, and I agree with them.
Yeah. And again, and it goes back to private charities seem to act more effectively than the government can on any of these issues.
That's absolutely true.
Using Kimmel's emotional monologue about a personal experience regarding his newborn is abhorrent and a new low.
Fuck you, you virtue signaling piece of shit. Look, if I probably could have listened to what Jimmy Kimmel had to say more if he hadn't gotten emotional about it. Because again, you can't. At least I can't. I don't know about you. I personally can't take somebody as being logical while simultaneously being emotional about it. Because at that point I have to question where they're coming from and if it is actually truly reasonable to have that discussion at that point.
I'm definitely with you on that.
Yeah, great. I'm in an echo chamber. Just teasing.
Even for you cucks. I mean, seriously.
There it goes again.
Really the hill you all want to die on. For those of you who
at least it's not bad enough to where we could play like a say the word cucks drinking game.
Yeah, it really isn't, huh? He said something about dying on a hill.
Newborn is abhorrent and a new low even for you cucks. I mean, seriously, is this really the hill you all want to die on? For those of you.
So talking about Jimmy Kimmel and his emotional diatribe, well, maybe diatribe is a little bit stronger of a word, is a hill for those of us who look at his opportunity to use his personal experience as a means to emotionally appeal to the general public to keep Obamacare.
Obamacare represents a lot more than an emotional appeal, though. I mean, it represents real.
No, but I'm just talking about Jimmy, though.
Yeah, I'm talking about Jimmy too. Is what he's saying is let's keep a program that's going to indebt our children and our children's children. The 2/3 of the federal budget right now, 2/3 of the U.S. federal budget is Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and interest on the debt. Right? How much more do you want that to go up? I mean, we're talking about less than 1/3 of the federal budget actually goes to things like military, NASA, Park Service, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What are you going to do at that point? And then people are going to, I bet you, swear to God, somebody's going to comment on this video. That's mandatory spending versus discretionary. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, because it's not as if they can't do away with the mandatory spending.
Who made
right.
By the way, with the number of subscribers I have, I really doubt that anybody's going to comment.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, unless they're guided here by me in that other form.
I want to leave you with a little anecdote from that same exact interview that Representative Andy.
Oh boy, here we go.
We talked about Obama.
This is made up. I mean, the former president doesn't understand health care insurance, and it's obvious.
Oh, the former president doesn't understand health care.
Nobody knew that health care could be so complicated.
Yeah, I rest my case.
That's not a case that you can rest anything on.
Well, that was a mistake for Trump to say that. I mean, seriously.
Oh yeah, it was. No, I know. Well, no, it's not the idea. Okay, it's the comparison between what that representative said about Obama and insurance, and Donald Trump and insurance, because the thing is that his whole argument is about Obamacare. And it's not untrue that Obama didn't know shit about health insurance.
I would say that he had to know a little bit about it, at least, because he would have been briefed by White House staff when it came to this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, probably. I don't think I'm presenting anymore.
No, you're not. You said you dropped.
Okay, yeah, because that was pretty much the video.
Okay.
No, that was pretty much the end of the video.
Well,
the thing of it is that, yeah, he needed to. Well, that's why presidents do have a staff to brief them on that which they do not know about.
Right.
And the thing of it is that, again, I don't disagree with that. That was a very dumb thing for Trump to say, because, there was a law a lot of bloviating that he did during his campaign. And I'm
Well,
like, and there were a lot of things that he said that I'm like, this is going to come back and bite him in the ass.
He was doing the traditional, I promise you this, I promise you that. To Trump's credit, I did see him attempt to get a lot of these things done, which I've never seen before, right? I mean, we saw that with the ACA and Obama, but I think that was more of a money-making move on Obama's part than it was to help the public. I mean, it obviously didn't help the public, right?
Right.
So,
well, not the public in general. I don't think it may. I have no doubt that Obamacare has helped millions of people.
I don't believe that for a second. In fact, I would say it's actually hurt more Americans than you could possibly.
Well, I didn't finish. I didn't finish my thought. I was going to say, however, I think it's hurt millions more than what it's helped.
Right, I agree with that.
So, I mean, there's been enough evidence out there to show that it's hurt more than it's helped. But of course, it's always about the virtue signal. And we helped out all these poor people. Well, that's great. You did it at the cost of millions more people that now are being hurt by Obamacare. And the fact of the matter is that prior to Obamacare, to go back, it goes back to that these people, that just because these people didn't have the same resources as Jimmy Kimmel or, middle class to upper middle class to the elite rich didn't have. They still had resources to help them with their medical costs. And the fact of the matter is that their medical costs, using things like Medicaid, were significantly decreased to where they probably didn't have to pay much, if anything at all.
Well,
let's ignore that.
I look at it as there's kind of two schools of thought, right? There's one school of thought where everyone's trying to fix the current situation. But, being an anarcho-capitalist, I don't think that that's possible. I don't think there's anything you could actually do at this point which would fix healthcare other than getting the government out of it. Like the second government
just basically happen an absolute free market.
Yeah, leave an absolute free market to it. I guarantee, look, where there has been a free market in healthcare, we've seen amazing strides, right? Boob jobs and LASIK eye surgery. Now that sounds funny.
To name a couple.
No. It sounds funny, but the interesting part is that insurance doesn't cover either of those, right?
Right.
The price of them has dropped significantly. And in the case of LASIK, the robot actually does the surgery now. They've advanced it to the point where they sit you in front of a machine that looks at your eyeball and shoots lasers at your eyeball. I mean, holy shit, that's like fucking Star Wars right there, right? Mm-hmm. But it does the surgery, and it's automated. I mean, if that's what we can do with even a small section of the market being free market, why can't we extend that into real healthcare, where we can look toward things like open source medical imaging, which is a real thing. The problem is they can't use it. They can't use it because the FDA gets in the way. You have to spend millions of dollars to get equipment approved. Now, I know people are going to say, well, we can't sit there and let people shoot hundreds of x-rays into us. And that's true, right? There's got to be some oversight, but the free market handles oversight. You've heard of underwriters, I'm sure.
Right.
Like things like that. Those exist. The SAS 70 or whatever it's called these days. Those are other forms of certification in the market. Those work. PCI compliance, etc., for people who take credit cards.
Yeah, but see, the reason why we don't have that again is because the government sees money-making opportunities, so they just have to get involved with that.
I agree. This is more about politicians' take-home pay than it is about helping people.
Yeah, I mean, because we could sit here and discuss for probably another hour how Republicans and Democrats, and just from what I've seen, because I'm a partisan, is that Democrats mostly just how much money, how much wealth they accrue by just having the positions that they have.
Well, I mean, look, Obama's net worth went up, what, 140% after leaving office? I mean, come on.
Already? Shit.
It was something like that. Maybe it might have been even 40%. I don't remember, but any significant jump in net worth just because you left the office of president, come on, you know those are kickbacks rolling in, right?
I wouldn't doubt it. It wouldn't surprise me, I'll say. But see, and that's why that's one thing I liked about knowing with George W. Bush is that he was already rich. He didn't, his net worth, if it increased at all, wasn't going to increase significantly for him to give a shit about it. Because that motherfucker already had money before he ran for president.
He did. I believe he had a few oil companies going on, or some oil wells at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course, I think he divested himself of whatever percentage of the Texas Rangers he owned. See, I think he pretty much divested himself of anything he was involved with, as far as his standing with private companies or even the baseball team.
Yeah,
But
I'm not really aware of that.
Well, like I said, I could be wrong. It may be, because I'm thinking it was something I read a while ago, and just, it was such a long time ago that I don't know if I'm recalling it correctly. Well, anyway, I appreciate you stopping in, because I'm looking at the time, and that is 20 minutes past what you thought you could hang out for.
Right. In fact, the wife's calling, so I'm going to have to let you go.
But I appreciate you stopping in and watching this with me. Hopefully we can do this again sometime.
Sounds good.
And I'll see you around another place. Take care, man.
All right, man. Later.